Hot takes incoming. Hi, this is Victus. We're the Brute Builders. Thank you for tuning in. In my last video, I offered my full-throated defense of the Mason as one of the best villager traders in Minecraft. I know that's a hot take, and I'm sticking to it, so I thought I'd do a full villager trader tier list, in my opinion, and see what other trouble I might get myself into with my hot takes. We'll go in ascending order, starting from worst to best. We're not starting out spicy though, because my one and only F tier villager trader is going to be the Nitwit. Can't get a job, can be used to breed, whoop-de-doo. If you're ever in a situation where you're desperate to start a villager breeder operation and all you have on hand are Nitwits, well, sure, be my guest. But bar that, these guys are basically useless. So let's just move on. Okay, I need to break my one rule about going in ascending order, and I'm only going to do it once, and I'm going to start with the S tier farmer. The reason why I want to talk about them now is because while other tier lists will spend a decent amount of time talking about and weighing what you can give villager traders for emeralds, and I will do so quickly, I think the farmer basically debunks all of them. Here at the Brute Builders, 100% of our economy is powered by selling melons and pumpkins to farmers in one of our 2 farmer trade halls. Renewable resource, and if the farmers are resurrected, it's 1 for 1, that being 1 melon or 1 pumpkin for 1 emerald. It's a fantastic deal. Because farmers exist, I don't think selling to other vendors weighs that heavily at all when considering the value of other traders. You can disagree, but this is my rationale and I'm sticking with it. I make all my money harvesting crops and it's easiest that way. So farmer would be S tier for what you can sell to them alone, but farmers also sell you golden carrots, the single best food source in the game, at master rank. That alone would also net them into S tier for me. If you're setting up villager trade halls, you need farmers. Back on track and coming in at the bottom of D tier for me is the butcher. They'll buy raw chicken, raw pork, raw rabbit, raw mutton, raw beef, dried kelp blocks, sweet berries, and coal for emeralds. Some of these aren't the worst trades, but again, fully outclassed by the farmer and others. They'll sell rabbit stew, whoop-de-doo, cooked pork chops, and cooked chicken to you. This would be useful if the farmer didn't exist with strictly superior food, but they do, so to me the butcher is completely outclassed by the farmer. Even with auto farms, kelp blocks do not produce quickly, and I'd rather use them as fuel than for selling. Same with coal, and while animal farming is a thing, it's slow and a hassle. This is a trader I absolutely never use. Next is the Leatherworker. They'll buy leather, flint, rabbit hide, and scoot. Leather's the only one of the trades I'd even consider, and again, farming animals is slow and tedious. So nothing really to see here. They sell leather gear, which is the worst gear in the game, and the only reason they get a seat higher than the butcher for me is because they sell the saddle, and that is actually plausibly useful. We keep a lot of farm animals, including horses, for fun here at the Brute Builders, and while finding saddles isn't exactly hard, it does require exploration, and that can be time consuming. So having saddles on tap can be nifty, even if not great. The final and top of D tier for me is the Fisherman. They'll buy string and coal. These are both useful materials that I'd never sell though. Raw cod, salmon, tropical fish, and pufferfish, all tedious to acquire, and puffers are actually useful for alchemy, so no good trades there. But they'll also buy boats. Okay, this is actually an extremely material efficient sale. 5 planks for an emerald is a good deal in my opinion, but the reason why this will never be my money source is because boats cannot be stacked. If you're playing the same game I'm playing, you cannot walk into a fisherman trade hall with dozens of boats in your inventory to cash in on. So it would be a clunky nightmare. Not worth it. They'll sell cooked fish, but who cares because again, golden carrots are better, and enchanted fishing rods, which, I don't know, I don't fish, ever. Maybe you do, so maybe you get more mileage out of that, but even then, librarians sell fishing enchants, so librarians do this arguably better. My favorite offering of theirs, and the sole reason they even clock this high on the list, is that they sell campfires. We at the Brute Builders love our smoke plumes, so having campfires on tap is something that actually makes us go to our Fisherman a lot more often than many of our other, even higher ranked traders. So respect there. We move into the C tier now, and another hot take incoming. I put the Armorer, Weaponsmith, and Toolsmith all lined up next. And I'm going to lump them together because to me, my rationale for how I rank them and what they do, it's very similar. So let's just get to the punchlines. They sell enchanted diamond armor pieces, weapons, and tools, respectively. And real talk, this is okay, I guess. But I don't know about you, but by the time I'm far enough into a run that I'm building a trade hall, I already have this stuff. So it's not saving me material. And then there's the issue where you don't know what enchants you're going to get until you level them up so high that you're already stuck with that trader. You can't just roulette them into infinity like you can the Librarian until you can lock into the trades that you want. So for me, the buys are valuable if you somehow have a haul before you have gear, or if you die a lot and lose your stuff. Neither of those are problems for me though. Now, selling iron for emeralds is one of two things. You have an iron farm, and if you do, it's basically a money printer and one of the best trades in the game. I don't have an iron farm because they're loud and ugly, in which case iron is way too valuable to be selling. Admittedly, if you do have an iron farm, I'd probably move these guys into A tier. They would be a fantastic source of emeralds in that paradigm. Last in C tier, and another hot take incoming, is the Wandering Trader. Look, they just sell a good variety of stuff, and we at the Brute Builders really privilege building blocks and decoration material. I think I've gotten half of my original saplings from these guys before I ever needed to travel and explore and find all the different biomes. They sell wood, flowers, dyes, and stuff that I use for decoration and builds. Are they ever going to make my day? Probably not, but they do have a neat variety that's sometimes worth a look-see. Simple as. Coming in at the bottom of B tier is the Fletcher. Before the resurrection nerf, selling sticks at an emerald a pop was an insane money-making method. Now it has a problem similar to boats in my opinion. It's easier to just spam veggies and sell those instead. Still, selling sticks is a better trade for emeralds, I guess, than most things, so props there. Not interested in selling flint, string, or tripwire hooks, so those are all pretty forgettable to me. This guy comes in all the way this high for one simple reason to me, and that's because unlike tools, armor, and weapons, there's real value in being able to buy an enchanted bow. Why? Well, because I think Infinity is a better enchant than Mending for bows, and you can only put one or the other on them. So in other words, bows will eventually break. This is an evergreen need. Getting a head start on your next bow has value in my opinion. Coming in next is the Shepherd, and this is probably way higher than you'll usually see them on others' tier lists. I'm not super interested in selling wool. It's farmable-ish, I guess, but it's not more optimal than crop. I'm even less interested in selling them dyes. But we're the Brute Builders. They sell wools, carpets, and banners. Are these super commonly used build materials? Not exactly, but anyone who sells me things that helps with my builds, which is, in my opinion, Minecraft's endgame, really does bolster their value. For this alone, Shepherd goes into the middle of B tier for me. I do have a Shepherd's Trader Hall that I call Weaver's Row in my city, and I visit them quite often. Topping the B tier is the Cartographer. Selling paper isn't terrible, but we already know farmers are the goated money source. Sticking with that. I like these guys for two reasons though. They sell banners, and we like blocks and decorations as I've said. But more interestingly, they sell maps. These guys literally sell adventure, man. Maps to ocean monuments, trial chambers, and even the very rare woodland mansions. Is this super useful? In my opinion, not really. But it's really unique and fun, and it fills a very interesting niche. So to me, the Cartographer can sit high on this list for being unique and filling that niche so well. The A tier only has one single entry with the Cleric. You can sell them boatloads of rotten flesh, but who cares? I care more about what these guys sell me. Lapis is kinda easy to farm, but it's still nice to have on tap. Glowstone is amazing to have on tap. Farming that stuff can be a headache in the nether in my opinion, and it's a useful lighting source, as well as other materials such as enchantment. Being able to buy ender pearls is just absolutely amazing. These are incredibly useful exploration tools that I always keep in my bag of tricks skulker box, or even have on hand if I'm navigating exceptionally dangerous areas. And bottles of enchanting are also fantastic to have on tap. Are these things worth tons of experience? No, but I do keep a stack in my shulker box in case I ever break down while flying with my elytra. Definitely enough to fix up and get back on your feet. These guys simply sell stuff that you cannot otherwise easily obtain or stockpile, so that alone brings them all the way up into A tier. We're now finally at the S tier. We already know the farmer's here, but we don't know where. At the bottom of S tier, behind the farmer, sits the stonemason. I made an entire video about why these guys are super underrated. Link below in the description. I'll make it quick here. These guys sell tons of blocks. Blocks are the fuel, in my opinion, for all of the endgame, aka city building. Quartz especially is tedious to farm, and these guys just make it a world easier to get your hands on. I love masons, and I think they are S tier traders. I buy from them more than anyone. Finally, and sitting at the top of the list, ahead of the farmer, is the librarian. And this is certainly not a hot take. Everybody will tell you that the librarian is the best trader in the game, and they're right. I'm not a contrarian, I only disagree when I can do so in earnest. And these guys just have way too much going for them. The reason they sit atop of my list might be a little bit unique though. There's the stuff you already do know. They sell almost every enchant in the game, including the absolutely goated mending enchant. That alone would land them at least a low S tier in my opinion. But the reason they sit atop the list is because they also sell lanterns, glass, and bookshelves. These are useful building and decoration blocks indeed. My very first build on this server uses all three. So my librarian trade halls are a one-stop shop enchanting mall and keep me coming back because they sell useful blocks or purchase. I'll never have to smelt glass, craft bookshelves, or lanterns again? Sign me up. So this is the full list. Going in ascending order, we have the Nitwit, the Butcher, the Leatherworker, the Fisherman, the Toolsmith, the Weaponsmith, the Armorsmith, the Wandering Trader, the Fletcher, the Shepherd, the Cartographer, the Cleric, the Mason, the Farmer, and the Librarian. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tier list. Did you learn something? Do you wildly disagree with me? Do you think I'm actually right? I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, this is Victus, signing off.